In this video I'm going to talk about the World Cup and it being a Serpent Sun 666 ritual. So first of all, I'd like to thank you for your comments. So the World Cup was a Serpent Sun 666 ritual. It ended 3-3, 33 of Freemasonry. Argentina won, and Argentina were 36 games unbeaten. That's 666, and then they lost against the Saudi Arabia. This really was a Saudi Arabian World Cup. And then they win the final, first time in 36 years, 666. Messi's called the GOAT. The World Cup logo has a Baphomet on it, which I've shown many times. So let's just see here, because this makes it clear. So you have a Baphomet on the World Cup logo there. You have the eyes, the whiskers, the ears, the horns, the top of the head and the flame coming out. And you have it within an Ouroboros, which represents an 8. And you have an upside down pentagram with 2 there, it looks like an 11. And Messi scored his 13th goal in the final. Remember, there were 13 colonies in America. This is one huge ritual. And so the number 33 is related to the highest number of Freemasonry and the eye in the pyramid. And there are 33 vertebrae in the back, and then it goes to the skull, which is the crown chakra, and then the pineal gland and the eye in the middle of your head. And you have that Jesus died when he was 33. Now in this World Cup, 3 days after the final of the World Cup, which ended 3-3, which you have Messi, which seems to mean Messiah, and he wore a gown which was black, which was made of goat's fur, and he's called the GOAT, and there's a Baphomet on the World Cup logo, as above so below, and the symbol represents a snake consuming itself, which you find in the belly of the Baphomet, which relates to DNA and the path of the sun. So the 8 logo represents also the path of the sun, the serpent sun worship. And when the final ended, 3 days after, you have the birth of the sun with the winter solstice. This was a Serpent 666 sun ritual. And what I believe is it's about a bigger event which involves a meteor and La Palma, which will cause a mega tsunami in the Atlantic. And in 86, remember it's 36 years since 1986, Maradona scored 2 famous goals in the quarter-final, and I believe Maradona was sacrificed before this World Cup final. And Maradona, in his first goal, was called the Hand of God, and the second one he was described as a cosmic kite. Which planet did you come from? And it seems like the elite believe that intelligence came to this planet via a meteorite. You have the monolith in 2001 where the ape touches the monolith and it becomes intelligent, and it throws the tool up in the air and it goes to a space station, being an intelligence behind the ascent of man, and then it goes to the all-seeing eye of Hal, the computer. So this cosmic kite, I believe, is about this meteor event which is coming, and it relates to the kite of Benjamin Franklin, who was one of the founders of America, and it relates to Back to the Future. And so we have Benjamin Franklin with his kite experiment where he harnessed lightning. Remember, Lucifer or Satan fell to earth like a lightning bolt. We have him here harnessing lightning with a kite, and you can see the image, and it is the same as the dock in Back to the Future. Remember that Benjamin Franklin was a founding member of the United States, and he signed the Declaration of Independence, and the dock character represents him in Back to the Future. And you can see here him doing the lightning experiment, so harnessing the power of Lucifer, the lightning experiment, to travel in time. And this is the experiment, so it shows you him doing the experiment on Back to the Future. Remember that Biff is based on Donald Trump, and he appears in all 3 films. And in Back to the Future 2, Trump or Biff becomes wealthy because he has a sports almanac which can predict sporting results. We now see sports as being rigged, and we have people saying that it is rigged. And it is interesting that you have that almanac in Back to the Future which predicts sports dates. So here we have the dock as Benjamin Franklin, and the car is actually a kite, and at 88 miles per hour, remember that the World Cup logo is based on an 8, and you have the Trump code which is 88. The car goes beyond time. So the message seems to be that with the help of Lucifer, man can go beyond time, can defeat the constrictions of time. Remember that Lucifer is immortal. So we have here the dock in front of the clock tower. The clock tower represents Saturn. Now in the film Back to the Future, it predicts 9/11 with a twin pine mall, and then it becomes to a single pine mall, just like what has happened. You also have 911 on the clock. But this film also predicts the meteor or La Palma tsunami, which I will show you clear as day, because the dock represents Benjamin Franklin, the founder of America. So the car gets to 88 miles per hour. With the help of lightning, Lucifer, man can defeat time. And you can see he's doing the kite experiment. And then afterwards you have 9/11 on the road. There's the lightning tower. There's the kite, the cosmic kite. And the town hall looks like the White House. So there you have the dock being Benjamin Franklin, and it's connected to the cosmic kite meteor, which is on the Illuminati game card. Then you have Back to the Future. You have Marty McFly plays at the enchantment under the sea ball, telling you that America is going to be flooded, and you have a trident here. So you have a trident here. Remember that Ukraine, you have a trident flag. The trident is a symbol of Atlantis, which was flooded. Francis Bacon called America the New Atlantis. So you have Back to the Future, and it predicts the next event, which will be the flooding of America, as you saw in the ball. And I'll show you, because it is about the Benjamin Franklin character. So let's go back to the World Cup logo. You have the snake consuming itself. You have a pentagram, upside down pentagram. You have the two there, which look like two towers. Remember that 9/11 is actually 7/11, and 7/11 is the warning given to Noah about the flood. 9/11 is a ritual about the next event, which will be the flooding of America, and I will show you this in this video. And then you have the Baphomet here. As above, so below. You have an all-seeing eye with a tail here, and you have a dot here also representing the eye, the all-seeing eye. You have the Illuminati game cards. You have the Statue of Liberty with its neck under the sea. Now the BBC made a documentary about La Palma, and they said that if it collapsed, it was due to global warming. So it seems like the asteroid impact, which I believe which will be man-made, and the La Palma thing are connected, but I believe both are man-made, will be man-made events. And it's connected to the cosmic kite and Benjamin Franklin. And here we have the meteor strike, and it looks like a kite. And it also looks like the capstone of the pyramid, the Great Pyramid, which the Freemasons worship. And inside the pyramid you had a meteorite. The chamber was made out of a meteorite. Now there's a theory that the pyramid was actually there to create energy. And so it makes sense that was the pyramid some way of harnessing the power of lightning? Could it harness the power of lightning like the Benjamin Franklin experiment? So you have the meteor strike, it looks like a cosmic kite. You also have the World Cup card, which I've shown in my other videos as well. You have the tidal wave card, and I believe they've already tested this out twice. Once in Japan, which was on 3/11 or 11/3, the 11th of March was the Japan one, and the Boxing Day one as well. They've already tested the weapon out. And what it's connected to is the dollar bill, the $100 bill. So you have the $20 bill, which predicted 9/11. The all-seeing eye on the dollar bill, if you look closely at the eye, it has a meteor within the eye. If you look closely at the all-seeing eye on the dollar bill. And on the $100 bill, you have Benjamin Franklin. The dock represents Benjamin Franklin in Back to the Future. And we have this video where you have the note, and if you fold the note, it predicts the flooding of New York with a missile.
You issue $100 bill. According to Jonathan Kleck, if you fold the $100 bill in the same way as you folded the previous $20 bill with the 9/11 symbolism, it actually shows nuclear devastation and then some kind of tidal wave flooding through New York as seen in the movie The Day After Tomorrow. You can see it on screen now. Here's the flip side of the $100 bill, which, according to Kleck, shows some kind of missile hitting the ocean with this plume surrounding it, causing some kind of nuclear devastation, which then leads to the mass flooding of New York City.
So you have Benjamin Franklin on the $100 bill. The bill is a sigil, which is a form of spell. And you have a missile, and I believe that the meteor event will be man-made, and they will use a missile. The missile they will use are called rods, and you have a thing called Project Thor. You have the film Deep Impact, which was based on a book by Arthur C. Clarke called The Hammer of God. The god that has a hammer is Thor. Now, in the film Deep Impact, you have the meteor. It goes into the sea, causes a tidal wave, and it has Twin Tower predictive programming in that, but it replicates what's on this $100 bill. Arthur C. Clarke based his book, The Hammer of God, on the inventor of Project Thor and the rods, who wrote a book called Lucifer's Hammer, which was about an asteroid, fragment of the asteroid hitting the Earth. That man who wrote that book, Lucifer's Hammer, was the man who was behind the creation of Project Thor and these rods. And then Arthur C. Clarke based his book, The Hammer of God, on that book, and then the film Deep Impact was based on it, which has the cosmic kite then flooding New York. You also have in New York, next to the Twin Towers, you have a building that looks like a monolith. Again, referencing Arthur C. Clarke and his book 2001 and Stanley Kubrick, and how man became intelligent by touching a monolith. This is all connected. And what Back to the Future predicts is the flooding of New York with the character of the Doc, who is Benjamin Franklin. So the next event. Remember that Bin Laden was buried at sea. Again, the 9/11 ritual, which was 7/11, is about this next ritual, which is going to happen. And it's connected to the World Cup with Maradona and the cosmic kite. Also, that Argentina, it was also created by Freemasons, and you have a huge obelisk, and you have a huge obelisk in Washington as well. So it is the sun worship, and you have a sun on the flag as well. So both countries were created by Freemasons, and the Freemason that created America, Benjamin Franklin, was Benjamin Franklin. And that is what the World Cup was about. The World Cup ritual is some kind of spell to bring this event to pass. Thank you.